On page 42, you should have this taped in. It's a review of vertex form. So you discovered from the 8 problems that we did that the vertex comes directly from the equation. Reminder, the x-coordinate of your vertex is the opposite. So this is -2, this was +2, and the y-coordinate stays the same. So we looked at the second one. This was a -1, so this is a +1. -5 stays -5. Number 7, this was a +4. In the vertex, it's -4, but the 1 stays the same. This one was a +1. In the vertex, it's a -1, and then the 6 stays the same. We discovered that, and then we also discovered to tell if it's a max or a min. All the ones that are maxed have the same thing in common. They all have a negative in front of the parentheses. That number is telling you it's negative, it's going to be opening downwards, therefore it will be a max. If it's positive, it's opening upward, and it's going to be a min. So I'm going to let you, if you have not already, tell me the vertex of each of these by just, without graphing them in your calculator, from what we discovered. I'm going to pause for 30 seconds to let you do that. Okay, you should have gotten, since this is a -5, your vertex is 5, and this is a 2, so it stays 2. And here, the vertex should be -5, since this is a +5, and then 2 stays 2. Since this is a negative, in the vertex it's a +5, and then it stays a -2. So then, of course, your line of symmetry is x equals 5, since it's the x-coordinate, x equals -5, and then x equals 5. The other thing that we need to look for, if it's a maximum or minimum. So by looking at just the number in front, you should be able to tell if it's a max or a min. Since it's a +1/4, that means it's going to be opening upwards, so that would be a min. It's a -2, it means it's going to be opening downwards, so it would be a max. And then remember, there's nothing up front, it's a 1. Since it's a +1, it would be opening upward, so therefore it would be a min. Got ahead of myself. Okay, so let's summarize that up here in your notes. What does A tell your equation? Okay, we just went over that. Reminder, if A is positive, it's going to be opening upwards, therefore it would be a min. If A is negative, it will be opening downwards, therefore it will be a max. Okay, the other 2 important parts is from your vertex. The vertex is always found from H and K. So your H is the x-coordinate of your vertex. And reminder, it's always the opposite from the equation, and then your K stays the same. Okay, so remember, vertex, it's always the opposite x-coordinate of your vertex. Your x-coordinate is always opposite. Your y-coordinate always stays the same. Or your H is always opposite, and your K is always the same, because H and K is what we call the vertex. All right, you have some problems on the back. Give you a little bit of time to do those. I'm going to pause. Give you a few minutes to do. All right, you should have paused and worked them out. So let's go through really quickly. Your vertex should be opposite of 5 is -5, 2. Axis of symmetry, x equals -5. Since it's a negative, it's going to be a max because it's opening downward. On the second example, if it's a +2, it will be a -2. -1 is your vertex. X equals -2 is your axis of symmetry. It's opening upward, so it's a min. -1 would be a +1. Since there's no K, it would be a 0. X equals 1, and then since it's opening downwards, it's going to be a max. Opposite of -3 is +3. -7 stays the same. So x equals 3 is your axis of symmetry, opening upward, so it's a min. Opposite of 3 is -3. There's no K, so it's 0. X equals -3. It's a 1 out front, remember, so it's opening upward, so it's a min. Okay, the last 2 are trickier. You have to remember it has to equal 0, so this needs to subtract 5. to make it equal 0. So when you rewrite it, it should look like that. So therefore, opposite of 3 is positive 3, negative 5. X equals 3, it's opening upward, so it's a min. On the last one, you should have subtracted 6. So your equation would be a negative 3, negative 6 for your vertex. And this one's opening downward, so it's a max. Okay, this should be on page 42 of your notes.